Hey guys, thanks for tuning in again. I got a box today from Macy's. We're going to be unboxing a Bulova A-11 Hack. Stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome back. This just arrived from Macy's, which oddly enough, I've never bought a watch from Macy's. But they had the best deal going on the A-11 Bulova Hack. This isn't the regular Hack, it's the A-11. It typically runs a little more expensive. I don't know if you've ever bought a watch from Macy's, but they run discounts sometimes. Macy's bag. Now, it's the first Bulova Hack I've owned and been looking at them for quite a while. Go. Regular Bulova bag. Box. Silver bag. Sitting in there sideways. Go. See what else we got in the box. Setting instructions and warranty information and Silka gel. Not much to that. So this is the A-11 Hack. There's a couple other variations on the Hack, but they're not what I was looking for. This one met a lot of the standards I wanted, so we'll get right into it. It's got a case dimension of 37 millimeter. The case thickness is 14 millimeter. You got a lug to lug right at 45, which is just perfect. I think that's one of the best for my wrist anyway. 45 millimeter lug to lug. Lug width 18 millimeters, so nothing weird there. That's going to fit great. It's got a domed mineral crystal. Probably the only negative I really see about the watch is that it's a mineral crystal, which, you know, I wish it was sapphire. Water resistance is 50 meters. This watch has the Miyota 82S0. It's a 42-hour power reserve. This crown is a 7 millimeter signed crown, and on these military watches they were all big, just like on this Hamilton. They did large crowns. That was one of the specifications that the military required for the watches back when they put out their general spec. And you can find this specification online the military put out when they originally were designing what they called the Hack. From the movement to the case diameter, which this differs from the original specification. The case diameter was a lot smaller than this Bulova is today, but it carries on a lot of the original specifications. So I think it's a really good reissue. The original A-11, I think, was 30 millimeters. No one's going to buy that. That would be really small in today's standards. You've got this coin edge bezel, which is another thing that I wanted and was looking for. The A-11s were made by Bulova, Elgin, and Waltham. All those companies had to produce basically their variation based on the specifications that the government had put out. So there were slight differences, but the originals did not have the manufacturer's name on the dial. So here again, they kind of differ a little bit where Bulova's putting their name on the dial. So that's something that's, of course, not going to be the same as the original. But when you're looking for reissues, or I wouldn't even say this is an homage. I mean, this is really just a reissue. I think you can't go wrong with the Bulova. The other thing that I thought was just so cool was the back has the original typeset and type of watch that was issued. It has the order number, the patent number, the specification number. I thought that was a really neat addition to the watch to put that on the back. It's a screw down case back, and you see what they did is they just did 2 little notches here for the case back rather than doing it, making a snap case back. It's still screwed down, but it only has these 2 little notches right here. So they kind of kept from cluttering up the back with a lot of wrench flats for the watch tool to go. So I really did like that they did that. I don't know about this strap. I've got one on order. You know, I'm not a big NATO fan, and likely this thing's gonna be way too long for my wrist. I'm gonna take off wearing the Hamilton today. So I can tell when a strap's gonna be too large, but we're gonna put it on just so you can see what it looks like on the wrist. Man, that's perfect. The key for me is leaving space on either side of those lugs. This one, wow, that wine's really smooth. All of the other Miyota movements that I have wind up really smooth, so that's not uncommon. I don't feel it ratcheting. I think if you're looking at the Hamilton khaki, this is a really good option, and there's a big argument to be made that this Bulova is better in a lot of ways. For me, it's definitely the way the case lays on your wrist. When you wear the Hamilton khaki, not this Hamilton, but the standard khaki field officer's model, it has such a flat case. It lays like a straight board across your wrist, the Hamilton does. That was another reason when you go like 47 lug length on that Hamilton, it just does not wear well. That was one of the negatives and why I'd already had the Hamilton. I got rid of it. Nothing wrong with it, you know, as far as recommending the watch, but the way it wore on my wrist was just too large and too flat and stuck off on the ends. So I think there's a lot to be said for the Bulova. You know, Bulova is owned by Citizen. I have a lot of Citizen automatics. I have no problems with their movements. So I felt comfortable going with that. You know, you can somewhat say it is in-house, just like saying the Hamilton is in-house as well. Even though their movement is an ETA movement, you know, the Bulova is a Miyota, which Citizen owns Miyota. So I don't think we're really you're gonna have a problem whether you're going with the Hamilton or you go with the Bulova. It really boils down to personal taste. Set that there. Feels really smooth setting the time and winding. I don't know if I would classify this as a field watch that you're going to buy and go mountain biking, hiking, etc. I think this is more of a military classic type watch, you know, the same as this Hamilton is. I'm not going to abuse it. I guess you could classify it as a field watch, but it's not something I'm recommending for you to get as an alternative to a true watch that's meant to take a lot of beating in an environment. That dome crystal is going to get scratched. This is all polished. It's going to get scratched. All polished. So this would be more of a office dress watch, daily wear. I don't think I would want to get it in any rough environment, but man, it has a really good feel to it. The quality and the weight, I'm pretty impressed with that. So I think if you're entertaining a field or military style watch, look at the Bulova for sure. And again, this one was $288 from Macy's. That's a pretty good price, I think, for what you get. You know, you look at the Hamilton, it's really hard to find the Hamilton khaki under $350. You know, $342, $350. It's pushing it to find it that cheap. So $288, you're saving, you know, you can save $62, $65 depending on where you get it. Bulova runs sales on their site. You may want to check it out as well. But I think it's definitely a good option, and it has the history that a lot of these other so-called reissue or recreation military watches don't have. You're getting the name and a company that actually was involved in making these for the military. So if you own one, you got any questions about it, I'll let you know about the accuracy. You know, I'm just getting this out now. My other Miyota movements run pretty well. I think they average, you know, 10 to 12 seconds a day, which is probably what we're going to get out of this. But got any questions about this or any other field watches you think I ought to review? Just leave them in the comments below. Thanks again.